Hi everyone, today PhoneArena is going to be taking a look at the Motorola DROID Ultra and the Moto X, both of which are available from Verizon Wireless for $200 with a 2-year contract or $600 full retail. Now the DROID Ultra has been out for a few weeks now, so is the Moto X. Both of these are pretty much trying to get Motorola back in the marketplace here, as they've been really trying to compete with LG and Samsung over the past recent years. The DROID Ultra is pretty much a continuation of the DROID line. It's relatively thin at 0.28 inches in thickness, also has the Kevlar construction, but we're not really fond of this glossy back here that's sort of a fingerprint magnet. Meanwhile, the Moto X is a little bit smaller than the DROID Ultra, though it's actually bigger than the DROID Mini, so it's sort of the middle version between the two. We also like the texturized soft touch coating here on the back, and also it is slightly curved here. You can kind of see that, which does allow it to fit a little bit more naturally and a little bit more comfortably in the hand. Also, the DROID Ultra is using capacitive buttons here under the 5-inch display, while the Moto X is actually using the standard Android on-screen soft keys on its display. Both of those have the 3.5mm headset jack on the top, and on the right side is your volume and power key with the 10 megapixel camera on the back. So let's take a little bit further in-depth look of the two devices. Both phones are using Super AMOLED technology for their display, which means both of them are going to have really highly saturated colors and good viewing angles. Both are also a 720p resolution. Main difference here, which you can easily tell, is that the Motorola DROID Ultra has the larger display at 5 inches, while the Moto X is a smaller screen at 4.7 inches. So if you want a smartphone with the larger display, the DROID Ultra definitely does have that advantage on there. But the screen size on the Moto X isn't too small. We like the size. It's 4.7 inches. The DROID Mini is actually 4.3. So again, here we see it's sort of the middle screen size between the three devices. But overall, both of them are pretty fair equipped as far as the screens. Both the same resolution, pretty much just a difference in the screen size. Both devices also come running Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. Software is actually nearly identical between them. Have a total of 5 home screens that you can go through. App drawer, again, pretty much no difference here between those as well. So it's pretty much designed for Android purists, no extra customizations, themes, or anything like that. So both of these are pretty much a close stock Android experience. A couple extra features that Motorola includes on both devices is the active notifications. When that's turned on, basically all you have to do is just nudge the phone and the center part of the screen will light up. Also have the Droid Zap function on here, and the touchless controls on there, which is pretty much voice recognition for Google Now. The Droid Zap here basically allows you to share pictures and videos between devices. One extra thing that is exclusive to the Moto X is that it comes with an extra 50 gigabytes of free storage for 2 years with the Google Drive program. That's something you don't get on the DROID Ultra. Now, keeping in mind both of these have the same 16 gigabytes of internal memory, having the extra 50 gigabytes on Google Drive for cloud storage with the Moto X is a nice advantage. Featured on both the Motorola DROID Ultra and the Moto X is the company's own X8 mobile computing system. Basically what this does is it combines a modified 1.7 gigahertz dual-core Snapdragon S4 application processor, a 400 megahertz quad-core graphics processor, a natural language processing core, and a contextual computing core, along with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So as you can see here on our Antutu benchmark, both of these are pretty much right around the same benchmark score. Also, same thing with Quadrant. Both of these devices are going to be right around the same, regardless, since they both have the same internal CPU and GPU units being under the X8 platform. However, other quad-core devices such as the LG G2 or Samsung Galaxy S4 are going to score a little bit better with certain benchmark applications, but still in a normal day-to-day use, both these devices do feel pretty quick. Both of them, like we said, since it's both using the X8, are going to be pretty equal as far as their overall performance and speed. So not really any difference there, but then again, not quite as fast as a true quad-core smartphone. Naturally, the Google Chrome browser is included on both devices and is pretty quick and easy to use. Can also install a third-party browser if you want. Pinch to zoom, again, both being 720p displays. Now, once again, the advantage here goes to the Droid Ultra. Since it's a 5-inch display, you do have a little bit larger viewing screen on here, specifically because it has the capacitive buttons underneath the display. The Moto X, even though it's a 4.7-inch, these on-screen soft keys do take up some of the on-screen real estate, which actually makes the browser window a little bit smaller. It's actually about 4.4 inches. So that's why you do have the larger browser screen on the Droid Ultra than the Moto X. Because the Droid Ultra does have the larger screen with separate buttons, and the Moto X is the smaller screen, but more of that space is taken up by the on-screen keys. But other than that, it's pretty equal as far as the browsing experience is concerned. Both are also global roaming capable, which means you can use them in other countries with GSM bands. Here in the US, both of them also support Verizon's 4G LTE data network, which means you're going to get right around 20 to 25 megabits per second download and 10 to 15 megabits per second for upload. So about equal there with their browsing speeds. The camera interface is also identical on both of these devices. Swipe over to the right, brings up this wheel on the left hand side. It gives you certain options for HDR, flash, touch to focus, pretty much basic stuff like that. Doesn't really have any scene modes or effects that you can do like on other smartphones. Both of these also make use of Motorola's 10 megapixel camera. This uses a clear pixel sensor. Basically what this does is adds an extra clear pixel to the standard RGB, and like we said, it's a 10 megapixel overall. Unfortunately, image quality we're really not that impressed with. Colors are a little bit drab, not really true to life and accurate. Also, even though there's plenty of detail, when you zoom in on images, they do tend to have a little bit of a jaggedness to them, not really sharp and clear like we would see. Both of them also support standard 1080p 30 frames per second video recording, so nothing really out of the ordinary here. We're not real impressed with the camera and video quality. It's pretty much average for a smartphone of today. Doesn't really impress us, but it's not really that bad either. Call quality on both devices is also pretty equal, with calls on both end, voices sounding nice, clear, and natural without any choppiness or robotic tones like sometimes you get on a cell phone. Signal reception is also pretty good here on both devices as well. One difference though is the internal battery. The Droid Ultra has a 2130 milliamp battery, while the Moto X has a larger 2200 milliamp battery. Because of this, for continuous talk time, the Droid Ultra is going to get about 14 hours, and the Moto X is pushing right about 15 hours of continuous talk time. But for a daily mixed usage, you're going to get about a day to a day and a half before requiring an additional charge. And remember, since both these batteries are internal, you can't just take the battery case off and pop another battery in. So at this point you're probably asking, for $200, which is the better smartphone here, either the Motorola DROID Ultra or the Motorola Moto X? Well, they're pretty much equal on a lot of fronts. Like we said, the software is pretty much identical. Processing performance, 16 gigs of internal storage, the 10 megapixel camera, and call quality. Some people are going to prefer the Kevlar construction here to the DROID Ultra, also the slightly larger display, and it being a little bit thin. But actually, between the two, we're preferring actually the Moto X. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. We like the soft touch coating on there. It does feel a bit more comfortable on the hand. Right now, it's only available in a white and black version, though the Moto maker is coming to Verizon supposedly later this year, which does allow you to customize different coloring parts of the phone. Another key advantage here is that the Moto X is made right here in the US, so it does have that extra advantage as well, since it's made locally here in the country instead of being made overseas and shipped in like on the DROID Ultra. So between the two, they're both really nice devices. It's pretty much a toss-up, but for right now, for the $200 contract price, we're liking the Moto X a little bit more than the DROID Ultra. So if you want to find out more about either of these devices and rate our comparison review between the Motorola DROID Ultra and the Motorola Moto X, check out our website at PhoneArena.com.